Hey, Johnny Mullet here with another CB radio video. My last video was about my CB base station setup that I showed you guys, and actually for the last month or so since that video was put up, I went through a lot of changes trying to find the base station that I actually want. I wanted something that was an actual base station, 110 volt, and a larger radio. I wanted a sideband radio. And basically there was an evolution of radios. So real quick, let me show you the evolution of the radios on this quick little clip. These buttons are all sticking. There's a lot of moisture inside. I actually took it apart to try and fix this old Motorola base station, but unfortunately it is going into the garbage can.
No buggers, no fuckers, no buggers. Five. Hey, go five for it now. You ain't gotta come back.
How about our 943-515 into Buckeye, 515 into Buckeye, standing by.
58555, radio 555-510-G7, Memphis, Tennessee, Tony.
Tennessee, you're coming in loud and clear here at the Buckeye, 515, standing by.
810-4 Ontario, 10-4 Ontario, definitely heard dinner waving a big old hand your way. 425. Old Excalibur, Eastside Carolina, getting on down. Hey, old Excalibur, you gotta say choke chain. Hey, old Excalibur, around the Carolina, you gotta say choke chain in Alabama. Oh, old Excalibur, choke chain in Alabama, back out. I ain't trying like that, Mad Dog. I live in a thunderbolt like that. I'm gonna play it now. I got to play it. Check it out.
So, without further ado, let me show you the radio I purchased. There's actually a story behind this radio. As I drive around, I like to keep an eye out for CB antennas on houses. And about 10 miles from here, I noticed this trailer with a huge tower and an IMAX 2000 24-foot antenna. So I took note of it, and driving by one day, I seen this old guy out in the driveway, and he had a cane. He was all bent over and trying to do something in his garage. So I decided, what the hell, I'll stop and talk to him. So I pulled in there. I introduced myself. I asked him about his antenna, if he was a CB guy. He said he was a ham and a CB guy, and he enjoys his hobby and so forth. So I asked him if he was not doing anything later that night, how about we get up on the radio and see if we can talk to each other, because I told him that I recently had a base station set up. So he said cool, and that night around 9 p.m. he got on the air, and we were able to talk on regular AM mode back and forth, no problem. He could hear me, I could hear him. So I had a sideband Cobra that I showed you there. We decided to go on lower sideband, which pushes 12 watts instead of the normal 4 watts. And as we were talking back and forth, he says, hey, Joe, can you hear the Mullet Man out there? I've been talking to him. Can you hear him? And I'm watching the needle on my radio, and it's moving, and I can hear a voice, but I can't quite make it out. And then the old guy comes back and says, hey, Dave, or hey, John, can you hear Joe? And I told him he's actually moving my needle. I can hear him, but I can't make him out. And then he told me that Joe could actually hear me. And he's in Wattsburg, Pennsylvania, which is 50 miles as the crow flies. So that is quite impressive. So this guy, Dave, the old guy, lives about 10 miles from me. We've been talking on and off almost every night, and it seems like the longer we talk, the more people start joining in on the conversation, which is pretty awesome. So I was able to talk 10 miles to him. This is on regular AM mode. Talked to a guy in Ashtabula about 15 miles away. Talked to a guy in Geneva about 30 miles away. I also talked to a guy near Andover. And yeah, so that's pretty cool for my base station setup. And I don't even have my antenna upgraded yet. So my next step is to upgrade the antenna. But for now, let me show you what I got here. Because the old guy asked me if I was a mechanic. He seen my uniform shirt, and I told him I was. And he said his Toyota had some problems and had some exhaust leaks and wanted to know if I could fix it. And I told him I could. He says, I really don't have a lot of money and I don't want to get ripped off by a garage. But he did mention that he had some CB base stations. So I went up to his house to see what he had. And what we did is we worked out a deal. He bought the parts for his car. I did the labor. And I got this radio. So you guys need to check this out. Here is the radio that I got now for a base station. Check it out.
10-4, Dave. Yep. I do have the echo up a little bit. I can turn that down if that's annoying. Alrighty, we got the echo turned down to minimum right now.
Okay, yeah, there's no echo now.
All right, guys, here it is. This is my Uniden, Washington CB base station. This particular radio is from the late 1980s. It is the later version of the Washington. It's in beautiful, beautiful condition. This thing is the last version of the Washington model. This one here has the upper and lower sidebands. The clarifier has been opened up. We got your RF gain, mic gain, your squelch, volume, and if you look here where it says phone, this is actually a 6-position switch. So let me show you what that switch is for. If you look here, we have a list of all the extra channels that were added to this radio. So as you can see, this radio goes from 26.815 megahertz all the way up to 28.045. So there's a lot of extra channels on this radio. And position 2 gives you your normal 40 channels. And then if I want to go into no man's land or the free band, I go ahead and switch around. And actually I have heard conversations and skip coming in on some of these channels. We also have this Turner +3 microphone, desktop microphone. This awesome little meter. This is Uncle Branton's meter. He's been letting me use it, and it's been a real help since I've been experimenting with radios and trying to find out if the modulation works and if everything is working correctly. So this old Midland meter is really nice because it has the field strength, modulation power, and SWR settings. So it's pretty sweet. So yeah, this is it, man. The Uniden, Washington base station, upper and lower sideband. There is only one problem with this radio. You're probably not going to hear anything tonight, but if you notice, if I go to like 38 upper side or lower sidebands, real popular, as you can see, there's activity. There's the upper sideband. When I hit lower, there's nothing. I'm still registering on the needle, but there is no receive and no transmit. So the radio does have one problem, and the problem is the lower sideband doesn't work. But you know what? I'm more of an AM guy, so it's not a big deal. It's fine. I'm happy with it. I cannot complain. This is a great radio. I really, really like it. And yeah, it's a good talker. So there's the Uniden, Washington base station set up. Pretty awesome. So let me go show you the antenna setup that I have as an upgrade to the original setup. We also did a antenna upgrade. Before I had two 4-foot fire sticks, and now I have a 102-inch whip on top and a 102-inch copper tubing ground plane. This is antenna number 2. It's experimental. It's working way better than the old fire sticks. But the next upgrade is going to be a new antenna. And I told the old lady, I said, look, I only want one thing for Christmas this year. No clothes, no bullshit. I just want an antenna. So I'm looking for an 18-foot SolarCon A99 or a Tram 1488 to upgrade the base station antenna. So I hope you all enjoyed today's video. Maybe you learned something. I will do another update when I get my new antenna and let you know how it's working. And also I want to let you guys know that I also did a CB upgrade in the Metro. I took the old HB 740 out and replaced it with an export radio. So I'm going to make a separate video on that, so stay tuned. We'll see you next time.
It's amazing how things have changed since cell phones.
Yep, you got that right. CB radio, the original social network.